What is workout capacity and how do we acquire it? All right, guys and girls, that's a question that if you've been watching the podcast with Dave and I, that's something I address, maybe not frequently, but I've talked about it multiple times. And to me, workout capacity may mean something different to a lot of people, but to me, when I think about that, it's the amount of sets, like hard sets I can do in a given amount of time, right? So let's say if I'm using leg day as an example, I did 10 hard sets of legs in 60 minutes. If increasing your intensity isn't an option, if you've reached your maximum progressive overload, what do you do to stimulate growth? And I've always thought this: the next step is adding volume. And it's strategic and it's smart. But if we add volume, let's say you don't have time to train for 30 more minutes. Like you only have 60 minutes from set 1 to set 10. But I want to do 12 sets now, or 13, or maybe 15. I'm going to have to improve my workout capacity. And this is a lesson that most learn when they come and train with me. And I even laugh there, because if you aren't used to training at the pace in which I train, it's a shock, and it's a literal shock to your whole face. And I've literally watched the color in people's face just disappear. They turn ghostly white. And I laugh because to me it's normal. It's the way I've trained for so long that it's just second nature. And I was fortunate enough early in my bodybuilding, like I always had a training partner, and the speed in which we went was always I go, he goes, change weight, repeat. And occasionally we may take a little bit longer. If let's say we were doing a superset, or let's say we worked with the 10 plates on a leg press. Well, obviously we'd have to strip all 10 plates before we got to the hack squat or a barbell squat. Of course, it's going to take a little bit more time than if we just continue to do sets, say on that leg press. So the natural flow of my workouts tend to be a pretty quick pace. I'm not claiming that I train at the intensity of Branch Warren, but that's what I always modeled my training after. And I did that because if I ever got the opportunity to train with him, I wanted to be prepared for it. And then once I got into that, I realized that I really loved it because it was a good mixture between weight training and football. And if you've heard me speak about football in the past, it's something that I love. Even to this day, I love coaching it. I love watching it. If I had the ability to play it, I probably still would. But I always loved the just go all out and then rest 30 seconds to a minute, because that's about the difference between plays in a football game, right? So you just give max effort and then you chill. Give max effort and chill. And I never could get behind what I will always call is power building. It's a mixture of powerlifting and bodybuilding where you're taking 3 to 5 minutes between sets. I'm just getting bored at that point. I hate the idea of giving people the opportunity to scroll social media on their phone, answer emails, answer text messages. I'm there to train and get better. Put the phone away and focus. If you have enough time to have a full-on conversation with yourself or someone else, or stare at some chick's ass for 46 minutes, that's not training to me. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to train. I'm here to get better. And to me, that faster pace is what grew and put muscle on me. And it gives a different look to the muscle, because anytime guys either come train with me or I teach them how to train at that faster pace, their physique takes on a new look and hardness. And I believe it's because you're beating the piss out of the muscle. And at first, that's really hard to get used to and to maintain strength from start to finish. But once you build workout capacity, and that's what I call it, it begins to become easy. It's very similar to, again, go back to my football reference, week 1 in the off season for us, if we hadn't been doing a ton of conditioning in the winter, we would get killed with T-drills and gassers and ball busters. But then middle of the summer, you were cooking that stuff. You were in such better shape. Or when it got time to the season and you thought you were in great shape and you went and played your first game and you realized, man, I was gassed. Well, 5 games in, you have that conditioning in. You have the work capacity to play a full game at max effort. And that only comes with doing. So to me, if my end goal of training is to maintain my performance hard as hell from set 1 to set 15, I need to train that. And in order to do that, I have to hold myself accountable for not taking extra long rest periods to manipulate the weight that I'm able to lift. So for example, if I'm doing dumbbell rows and my last feeder set was 120, and then my first work set was 150 and my back off was 130, If I took an extra long exaggerated break, I could probably pull that 150 back to back. But if I only rest 60 to 90 seconds, I have to drop down to 130s if I want to get at least 10 reps, because I'm having to build that strength and the conditioning to be able to pull and make my heart rate recover at a rate in which I'm ready to go again. Because I believe at the end of the day, like, conditioning is just like evolution. You have to train it in order to get better at it. Well, if you always give yourself the easy out with taking more rest period, how are you going to push that? How are you going to improve your workout capacity? So to me, coming in, training hard, crushing your body, you get better at it. Your body evolves. Your mind evolves. You get used to that pace. It becomes normal. You know, I laugh. I had a guy come in and train arms with me once, and he was throwing up during triceps. He's like, man, I wasn't used to that. Like, he was fucked. Like, he was doing 10 pounds of skull crushers. Because he wasn't used to that pace of just me go, he goes, change weight. And he was used to taking 2 to 3 minutes between sets of arms. And there's a reason his arms are small. Well, he learned that day what the pacing of an arm day should look like. And he saw through me demoing it that I lost zero strength from the first press down movement to the last skull crusher movement. And I wasn't phased. Why? Because I've been trained that way for a decade. So if you're out there right now and you're wondering, like, why am I not seeing progress? Like, I'm doing everything right. Consider improving your workout capacity. And you do that with everything I just described in that video. Will you take a hit the first few weeks of trying it? Yes. But I promise, as you become conditioned and better at it, you will see your body will get bigger, better, and the time you actually spend in here will be reduced. So I always kind of chuckle when I hear guys say, oh, I trained for 3 hours a day. No, you talked for 2 hours and probably trained for 45. And then they're going to play a 15-minute warm-up or cool down. So, like, let's get real. And I say this, and this is the last point I'm going to finish up with, is when I used to train people at Gold's, 2 years into me working there, they suggested I start doing 30-minute training sessions. And I was like, it's not enough time. And then I realized, like, okay, cool, like, they're going to pay me more money per session because they could charge more for a 30-minute session because it was a lower price point. So if you looked at it, if I trained 10 people in 30-minute increments, I got paid more than if I trained 5 people for an hour each, right? So it's the same amount of time. But I got paid more, and I got to see more people, and I got to see more people, meaning I got them more results, which means at the end of the day, I was helping more people, which made me happy. So what I would have my clients do is they'd be fully warmed up. They'd have the workout fully sent to them that we're going to do. So let's say it was chest. Let's say they trained with me at 9 a.m. was their appointment time. At 9 a.m., I'm behind them for their first set of incline dumbbell press. So they've already done their warm-up, they've already done their warm-up sets, and they've done their feeder sets. And they're sitting there waiting at 9 o'clock. And I said, okay, cool, let's go, set 1. And I would crush people in 30 minutes. And they'd walk away from those sessions feeling incredible about themselves in the session. And not like they were getting cheated or a half-ass workout. Now, 30 minutes can go like this, or it can feel like an eternity if you're going hard. So again, for all those guys and girls out there listening and watching, if you only have an hour to train, don't be scared. Just improve your workout capacity, and you can see just as much progress as if you had 2 or 3 hours to train at the gym every single day. So if you like this video, guys, like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, Crow and CB.